I'm Matt from M.Gemi Boston. Another episode of The Lantern. We have another Matt Thoms from Baukunst, a seed stage investment firm. So we're going to talk about what he's seeing in Boston and Boston Tech, what they do at Baukunst, and go from there. How's that sound, Matt?
Awesome. Let's do it.
Let's get into it. So first and foremost, tell us about Baukunst, how it came to pass, and sort of what you do there as a general partner.
Yeah. So I'm a co-founder and general partner at Baukunst. We are a new pre-seed stage fund investing really at like the earliest stages of venture. So we write $500,000 to $2 million checks, usually just as kind of founders are getting off the ground. And that's all that we focus on. So we love companies getting in at kind of the idea stage, going all the way through first product, first hires, first customers, and kind of getting through, product market fit and business model proof on capital efficient plans. So we're a new fund. We just got started about 2 years ago.
Amazing.
Our first fund is $100 million, and we've got half the team here in Boston and half the team out in San Francisco.
Perfect. And as we enter 2025, there's obviously a lot happening in the world of startups, AI, everything in between. What are you all focused on, and what are you focused on specifically in your day-to-day activities?
Yeah, great question. So I've been doing early stage investing in Boston for a little over 10 years now.
Amazing.
And I think one of the really neat things happening right now in the ecosystem is just the number of companies who are kind of getting to that, $100 million, couple $100 million level, and starting to shut off a lot of great talent.
Yeah,
I think a lot of companies who are getting great founders in early, kind of going through the growth motion and then spawning startups themselves. You hear a lot about Endeca and Toast and some of these other companies who have been great training grounds for new founders. But we're seeing now, dozens of companies like this. We've recently backed founders coming out of Form Labs, out of ButcherBox,
Cool.
Rulala, M.Gemi, a whole bunch of other companies who have really kind of gotten to that multi-$100 million level mark and now have companies, themselves that are spinning out. And so I think what we're seeing is not just one or two of those big feeder companies, but really a bunch of them that are spinning out a lot of great tech, especially in areas that we tend to focus on, like manufacturing, supply chain, e-commerce. We're really becoming kind of a new hub for areas like that.
Cool. We're in Post Office Square today in the heart of December. We got people walking back and forth, but we build through all environments here on The Lantern and at Baukunst.
Yeah.
Matt, you've done a lot both on the investing side of the table, but also on the operating side of the table, standing in for companies before. Yeah. What are some of those startup learnings that you would pass back to members of the community?
I think for us, like getting in again at like the earliest possible stage of company formation, I always encourage folks to just like find great early team members who they resonate with.
Yeah.
And have that kind of trump everything, right? Let that kind of bring you into new areas, new markets, new stages. And it's really tough to find people who you resonate with that on that level with. And, it's a skill that we don't learn in school, but I think maybe the most important one is really to seek out those people who you do your best work with and let that kind of pull you into new and interesting areas. Another one that we think a lot about, especially kind of at the very early stages of company building, is really being very kind of efficient in the foundation setting stage before you get into the revenue growth stage.
Right.
So we're thinking a lot about, okay, you're, finding your first customers, you're kind of figuring out how do we prove out the riskiest parts of this business model and doing that on as little capital as possible,
right,
so that you get the chance to iterate, you kind of preserve that agility that you're going to give up as you grow the team,
sure,
as you increase the burn rate, and really having that as kind of your superpower really in the early days.
Yeah.
Is something to really capitalize on and use to your advantage.
That's great advice. And last but not least, how can we help people in the Boston startup community, whether that's founders, investors, operators, anyone in between? How can we help you all?
Yeah, appreciate that. And really, we're always looking to, again, kind of meet founders at like the earliest stage possible. So we joke it's never too early for us to get in touch with great talent. So whether folks are, looking for the next role, thinking of starting something and kind of noodling on it, or, looking for some help connecting dots, we do that all day long. So always encourage folks to reach out to us. I'm Matt at Baukunst.co. You can reach out to me anytime. And I'm always happy to grab a coffee with good folks in Boston.
Perfect. Matt from Baukunst, Matt from M.Gemi Boston on another episode of Lantern. Thanks for joining us.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Matt.